Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Blue Goblin here with a special video. I was finally able to read these two books that I am reviewing here on this in this video. I'm here to review issues 3 and 4 of Forever Evil. I'll start with issue number 3. This is part 3 of Forever Evil, or as I'd like to call it, the Geoff Johns drinking game. Now, granted, I am known for praising Geoff Johns for what he's done for characters like Aquaman, but here it just seems like Johns has, went back to his thinking of, oh, Blackest Night was such a huge epic story. The fans really loved it, so let's write this story just like I did for that, and let's just make it more dramatic. And, it's like there's a reason why I call this the Geoff Johns drinking game. Take a drink every time you see a jaw-dropping moment or a heavily dramatic moment that requires lots of exposition and lots of tugging at your heartstrings. You get schnockered by the time you hit issue 4. But in here, it's like, okay, where do I begin? Now, I'm going to warn everybody. I am probably going to spoil the ever-loving hell out of these two issues. So if you do not want to be spoiled, I don't recommend watching this. But if you don't care, and if you want to see me rant my ass off, then by all means, give this a watch. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I probably am. But, y'all know me. I'm honest. Brutally honest. I tell it like it is. I'm not going to sit here and be a fucking sheep and just love this story because a lot of people out here think they think it's the best motherfucking story ever. It's not. This is basically Geoff Johns jacking off on heavily dramatic, jaw-dropping action and whatever. This is really highly overrated in my opinion. And here in issue 3, we get to see, Batman. It picks off from issue 2 with, Batman and Catwoman bringing what's left of Cyborg to Star Labs and everything. I think they're in Star Labs at this point. I really don't care. It's like Vic's on the verge of dying, which, hell, knowing DC, this is a big monumental event. Hell, they might kill him off. Who the fuck knows? But what I see in here is basically, it's like I said, it's just Geoff Johns stroking his massive ego. Yeah, I said ego. About how dramatic and how intense he can make this. Now, keep in mind, I do like David Finch's artwork. I do. It's really good. Luthor is probably the best character in the book. That's not saying much. I mean, it's just Luthor being Luthor. I mean, he doesn't really do anything really shocking in here. Maybe that's why I liked him the most in these two issues, is that none of these shocking moments or these jaw-dropping moments, none of them really truly involve him. You get exposition from him, and that's pretty much the most you get. You get smart dialogue, you get good character development. I think that's why I feel like Luthor was the best character of these two issues. But here in issue 3, he comes across, Bizarro has not yet been named yet. He's just the creature or the Superman clone, or, Luthor just keeps coming up with one-liners to describe who this clone is. He's not going by Bizarro as of yet in this issue. But from what we see in here, he is linking up, he is trying to reconnect to satellites that I believe that he says that the crime syndicate doesn't know anything about. And once he does that, he's able to pinpoint where all of them are, what they're doing, what they're planning, stuff like that, for the most part. But Ultraman, he's monitoring Ultraman's fight with Black Adam. And I'm expecting this to be a really knockdown, drag-out fight and everything, but it felt kind of shortened, and it felt completely one-sided, because, Black Adam yells out Shazam, it shocks Ultraman right in the back, and he's like, you think you can hurt me with words? He's like, no more words for you. And he literally opens up his hand, he grabs Black Adam by the jaw and squeezes. And he crushes Black Adam's jaw. It just cracks and he just crumbles. And he throws him out into the sea. What a great fuck you to a character like Black Adam. That's just how I saw it. It's one of those jaw-dropping moments from a Jeff Johns book. Take a drink. Don't forget to extend your pinky. But I just found it really underwhelming because ever since Blackest Night, which I did praise, I did enjoy it. But ever since then, Jeff Johns has gotten this massive ego that he needs to write every event story like this. It's why I didn't care too much for Brightest Day. It's why I didn't give a damn about the Trinity of Sin or whatever, the Trinity War, whatever the fuck it was called. I didn't care. I didn't care about Justice League. I didn't care about JLA. With all due respect to him bringing back Stargirl in memory of his late sister, I do respect that. Okay, I will give him credit on that. I'm not going to knock him for that. But it's like the only book that he's been writing for the New 52 here lately that I've even remotely given a two shits about is Aquaman. And he just left that title to do more writing like this. And after Ultraman beats Black Adam, he needs the pinpoint location of Metallo. Of course, probably all know why by this point in time in the storytelling. But there's I believe it's in issue 3. I'm probably going to get my plot points and plot moments mixed up between the two issues because I just read both issues 3 and 4. I just didn't care as much when reading these. But I believe it's in issue 3 where Captain Cold loses his freezing powers. The Crime Syndicate's equivalent of Firestorm, Deathstorm, uses his powers to untangle the altered DNA with Captain Cold, taking away the DNA that gave him his freezing powers. I'm like, okay, when the hell is he able to do that? But at the same time, that does somewhat-ish make sense, considering, the Firestorm Matrix might be able to do something like that, but it's like, it just seemed like plot convenience to make the Crime Syndicate look strong. It just did. It's like, oh, we got to make this. Jeff Johns was probably writing this in the script going, we need to make these characters look as badass and as evil as possible. So have him do this. Have him do this. And DC's like, okay, write it, we'll publish it. That's just what it felt like. It just felt like plot convenience. Just make sure that the regular DC characters just look like complete fucking chumps and make the Crime Syndicate look almost completely invincible. And now from a storytelling perspective, I guess you would have to do that to slowly build up their inevitable downfall at the end of this story. But it just feels sometimes when the Crime Syndicate looks strong, sometimes it seems like a little bit of overkill, and it's like, it makes me feel like, okay, we get it. They're badass. They're evil. We get it. So Captain Cold loses his powers. The rest of the Rogues Gallery is trapped in the mirror world and stuff like that, so they're not able to get out. But at least they can keep an eye on the action. It's just DC's way of writing out the rogues and pushing them to the side and make sure the Justice League gets the big hurrah at the end, I'm sure. But Luthor puts together a team, impromptu anyway, because, spoiler alert, like I said before, Black Manta, at the end of the issue, Black Manta finds Black Adam, brings him to the surface, said, hey, Ultraman left him here for dead, and, that's when Captain Cold shows up, and, Captain Cold talks about hope, and Luthor says, no, hope is dead, the Justice League's gone, hope won't save the world, but together, we might can. And that's how issue 3 ends. I'm like, okay. This book, at best, was just okay. Too many kind of moments and too much drama. It's just Jeff Johns just spewing his shit all over the place with his writing. It's just how I honestly feel. And then we get into issue 4. Issue 4, okay, you want to talk about false advertisement. Let me make sure I'm pointing in the right direction. Check out the damn cover. It says, Batman versus Lex Luthor. Does this fucking happen in this book? No! This doesn't fucking happen. This is just a way to get David Finch's artwork to shine, and it's just more bullshit false advertisement to try and trick you into buying this shit. This is something in comic books in general, not just with this story. I mean, comic books altogether in general. I hate it. I personally hate it when a cover gives you bullshit. The cover will tell you something's going to happen in here, but then you open up, start reading the story, nothing like that fucking happens. I'm fucking tired of it. It's like you see two characters duking it out on the cover, and when you read it, either they're not duking it out, or hell, neither one of those characters is in the fucking book. But in here, at least Batman and Luthor are in this book. Do they come to blows? No. But, you know, Batman and Catwoman, they're in the Batcave. Apparently this is Selina's first time in the Batcave in the New 52 universe, because she's like just in shock and awe about how awesome it looks. Apparently DC forgot that Catwoman's obviously been in the Batcave before, but, you know, back when Tim Drake was Robin, but no, now forget about that. That happened pre-52. We're talking New 52. So apparently, judging by how the story was told, this was Selina's first time in the Batcave. You know, they talk about, you know, Nightwing's identity's been revealed, and she even says, you know, Nightwing Richard Grayson, for all you know, he might be dead already. You know, and there's a moment with Superman. I'm pretty sure it was in this issue. Not Superman, Ultraman. He finds Metallo, and Metallo just turns around and he's about to say something, and Ultraman just plunges his fist into Metallo and yanks out the kryptonite. Again, what a brilliant fuck you to Metallo's character. Just have him appear in a couple of panels and then rip out the kryptonite and push him to the side like a bitch. Just so Ultraman... This I laughed my ass off. He still is like, okay, we get it. Ultraman is the exact opposite of Superman. Kryptonite powers him, sunlight hurts him. However, Batman does not know this, right? Does not know this. And he's got a kryptonite ring to deal with Ultraman. Bruce, you use that. If you try using that against Ultraman, I guarantee you're fucked. But we see, once again, we are once again having to be reminded of how Ultraman has to absorb the kryptonite. He has to crush it into powder and fucking snort it. And that's where we see the moment between him and Superwoman, who is Lois for the crime syndicate, and Ultraman finds out she's pregnant. Okay, and there was a heavily dramatic moment that Jeff Johns is known for writing with books like this. I could really honestly care less, because we all know Ultraman is completely evil, and he doesn't care about Lois and the child. He only does what he does for himself, because he's evil. And Jeff Johns has to remind us of that over and over again with his character. I do this for me. And then Luthor has more exposition, more dramatic backstory telling about his sister and everything. It just seems like Johns wrote this in there personally to, you know, I guess Johns wrote this in here as, you know, storytelling about his real life sister and everything. Normally I would knock a scene like this, but I can't help but think that Johns wrote this in there possibly as a tribute to his sister some more, so I'll leave that as it is. We finally get the name Bizarro in here. The code name for the clone of Superman was Project B0, and Bizarro's first words is Bizarro try. You know, so they say Bizarro. There we go, Bizarro. And Captain Cold has concocted a new cold gun since he doesn't have the cold powers anymore. So he has concocted a new cold gun, at least for him to put up a fighting chance. And they go up into Wayne Enterprises, but they run into Batman and Catwoman at the same time. And that's when Power Ring from the Crime Syndicate, who's probably the only entertaining character out of the whole group, I'm sorry. The other ones are just stock cliche, Snively, Whiplash-style villains. Power Ring is probably the only entertaining character out of the Crime Syndicate because of his character development. He is the sniveling chicken shit coward who's extremely paranoid. Sometimes he comes off really funny as hell. He's not there are a lot of times where he's not threatening. There are times where, he's only talking big when somebody's covering for his chicken shit ass. But when he's told to go do something by himself, he fucking panics and he's about to fucking piss in his pants. And that's how damn scared he gets. But, Power Ring shows up with a few people, like, maybe I think it's Copperhead, Deathstroke, villains. And Power Ring gets intercepted by Batman. Take a drink. Here comes another jaw-dropping moment. Batman puts on the Sinestro ring that he had in storage, and he becomes Sinestro Core Batman. Oh! Jaw-dropping moment. And then to cap it all off, the ring barely lasts a few seconds, so just like before, when Batman got a Sinestro ring, it only lasted a few seconds, like in the pre-52. It's got to be that way in the new 52. And the book ends with Power Ring taking the ring off of Batman's finger and destroying it. But you still see yellow light around, and he gets hit in the back, and spoiler alert! The big cliffhanger at the end is the arrival of Sinestro, all decked out in parallax armor. Another jaw-dropping moment. I guarantee you, if you are indeed playing a Jeff Johns drinking game with this series, by the time you hit issue 4, if you're going from issues 1 to 4 to now, if you are playing the drinking game, I guarantee you, you will get falling down stupid goddamn drunk by the time you reach this issue. All the heavy dramatic moments, all the jaw-dropping moments that... There are so many jaw-dropping moments in this storyline so far that sometimes they come off very underwhelming because by the time you let one moment try to sink in, boom, here comes another one. And then you got to try and read more into the story and try to let that moment sink in, then boom, there's another one. Sometimes jaw-dropping moments can hurt a story. When there's so goddamn many, you don't give the readers time to let that moment sink in before you fucking hit them with another one. If you're going to use jaw-dropping moments, try to keep it down to maybe one every issue or one every 2 issues. You don't need to keep hitting the readers with jaw-dropping moments over and over and over again. You don't. It's unnecessary, and it hurts the story overall. Like issue 3, issue 4 at best was just okay. And by the way, the way Sinestro enters the story, this is the first time we've seen Sinestro since the Wrath of the First Lantern, Rise of the Third Army crap. This is the first time we've seen him since then. Nobody's detected his arrival. Nobody's pinpointed where he came from. He just, poof, he just shows right up. No teens, no hints, no nothing. Pop! There he is. Just right there. He just happened to just show up at this exact moment, at this exact time. Nobody predicted he would be here. Nobody, Grid, the Crime Syndicate equivalent of Cyborg. With all the eyes and ears and all the stuff he's able to see throughout space and everything, You think he might not have been able to see him coming and say, hey, watch your back, here comes somebody else. I can't really see who it is, but there's a lot of yellow there. Even if they were to do that, it would have been fine. Say, oh, power ring, there's something coming towards your location. It's bright and yellow, but I can't exactly tell what it is. It's really blinding, it's really bright. That would tell you right away, something's fixing to happen. And then boom, he enters the fray, hits power ring, and boom, it's Sinestro. That would have been the moment delivered. If the moment were delivered like that, I guarantee you it would have been stronger. But no, they just had to go with, pop, there he is. It hurts the story. You rely so much on jaw-dropping moments, jaw-dropping cliffhangers, and heavy dramatic moments that aren't as dramatic as they should be. It's just like, more of this exposition crap that we got to get through. Forever Evil is overrated. If you love it, if you think it's one of the greatest stories DC ever did, then that's fine. I got no beef with that. You know, it's just my personal opinion. I think this story sucks so far. At best, it's just okay. And in the end, I just predict that there'll be so much jaw-dropping action, there'll be such power going all over the place at the end of the story. I'd be surprised if the damn comic book you're reading itself doesn't fucking combust with this kind of storytelling as it concludes. I honestly see that happening. The characters are going to show off so much power that the very book you're reading itself is going to spontaneously combust because it's so powerful. Bottom line, issues 3 and 4 of Forever Evil were just okay at best. Nothing more, nothing less. Too many big moments. Not enough time to let a moment sink in before you hit with another one. Heavily dramatic exposition that really didn't keep my attention. The artwork was great, but the writing is way overrated. I don't recommend this story. I'm reading it. I'm not buying it, though. I read these 2 issues not too long ago, and I finally found the time to sit down and talk about them. A lot of people want to know my opinion, and I'm giving it to you. And I'm sorry if you don't like it, but I'm not going to be a sheep. I'm not going to sit down here and just say it's great because a lot of other people are saying it's great. I'm going to come on here and give my honest-to-God opinion about it. I think this story sucks. There's my review of Forever Evil issues 3 and 4. If you enjoyed it, great. If you don't agree with my opinion, if you think this story is good, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. If you love the story, that's great. I respect that. Everybody's got a different opinion. Opinions will vary. They will be different, whether we like it or not. I have no problem with it, but I also have no problem telling you I think that this story will suck. Simple as that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, I'll see you all later.